Health is vital to freedom. Without it is a life of compromise. The life I've lived since I was 13. Expression without movement. Good morning. I'm gonna go ahead and do this for last night up till today. It's now November 29th, 6:40 a.m. So just until the morning. Not much has changed. But in particular, I happened to stay up for about 3.5 hours, all the way till 6 when my alarm rang. I couldn't sleep. I mean, I didn't stay up. I was trying to sleep and unintentionally rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, trying to fall asleep. And realistically speaking, I can only really sleep in one position, and that's on my back. Like, my back is the most accepting of my body's relaxation. If I sleep on my side, then things hurt. I have to be exact in my posture, or it won't work. Otherwise, if I do, then everything will just break apart, not feel good, and I'll feel like crap, especially my neck the next day. So in this case, I just couldn't get it. And when I finally got it was after 6. I repositioned my pillow right under my neck, and it felt very welcoming. But I didn't fall asleep. So I'm missing a lot of sleep, yeah. And I got my interviews today for Black Bear Diner, Hoff's Hut, some decent places to be able to start out. And maybe 24 will call me. But if not, it's not to worry. I'm going in with the intention to close and not to fail these interviews. There's no way I could fail. And if I do fail, then they'll regret not having me. It's that serious, right? So if I have to go out on a job search again, then, that would suck. In particular, I have 3 interviews, 2 today, one at 8, one at 3, one on Friday. And I don't want to have to go with the Friday one, in particular because it may be a family-owned business, but the communication is in like different languages, sparse cultures, communities, and I don't want to have a communication line that just isn't fluent and understood, right? Because we want to be understandable in anything that we do, and if we don't have that synergy, then it's not meant to be something that's going to help develop future relations with even the customers themselves. So it becomes a little difficult. In particular, what I woke up to. The reason why I woke up is because I had a dream. And it was really interesting. I'll describe it to you. In this dream, I happened to be in the setting, the location, the environment of what seemed to be my babysitter's house when I was younger. All the way up to age 13, I happened to get babysat all the time. And at this place, there was a particular room that was the bedroom that I stayed in a lot. And it had bunk beds, and it was just an open space where there was games or whatever, computer. And it happened to be there that Dareen, a girl that I've been in contact with, but never personally met up with, that I've been wanting to go out with for about 6 months now. I think a little bit over. I met her in May. It's now November, end of November. I've been chasing her and following up with her very often, right? So, like, once a week. You know what I mean? Like, it's been very consistent, which is good, not good, annoying, but she's just really busy with college and work and stuff. Or not work, just she's extremely busy, apparently. And we haven't been able to meet. But she said a few days ago, I just read the message yesterday, that she wants to meet me. She loves the messages. She really enjoys reading them. But she's just busy now, and it's not really an option. But I'm telling her, yeah, I understand, but you still haven't said yes yet, basically. Like she said, yes, I want to see you, but no, you haven't said yes yet. So why don't we meet up at a dance studio and take a dance class together? Was my suggestion. So that night, I happened to go to sleep and I ended up conjuring up this dream. And I'm not too sure what happened in this particular room, but we ended up talking, having some fun, and feeling really good about each other. But I was more so talking in my own childlike way. And okay, back to what I was saying. Cut off because it was full. Um, she ended up saying that, through me talking and expressing myself and creatively in a childlike way, kind of speaking out, not exactly directly to her, but saying whatever I wanted to say in response to some of her questions. My responses were probably long, or I was talking to myself. She ended up being, at the end of it all, she was fulfilled, happy, content, and she was listening. Not just subtly, but she was listening. And she felt somewhat compelled, driven, pulled, understood. There was a very positive, loving, vibrant energy that she expressed. And yeah, I feel like I want to be with you, basically. To that idea of, and that felt pretty good. And I was like, what did it for you? Like, what took you so long? And then the scene switched. And I ended up rolling up at a Trader Joe's, or walking into a Trader Joe's with my mother. And she had the cart or whatever. And there was a scene where I walked back and talked to my mother. But that came after I went around the whole store, shared my energy. Maybe I danced a little. I'm not too sure how much I shared my energy. But as I came all the way back around, she happened to be at one of the registers. But her hair was really poofy in a weird way. And for some reason, I felt when I walked in, the energy was there. I felt like she was somewhere in the room. But when I came around, I actually saw her. And I'm not too sure what was said in particular. But it was like the feeling of, oh, there you are. Oh, I knew that was you. I thought that was you, or something. And we just smiled, looked at each other, and I just went on, continued doing my thing. But when I continued doing my thing, I kind of sped up and went around back to the entrance, and my mom happened to be there. And she was like, what was that? Or whatever. I was talking to her, and I was like, oh, I just happened to, do something funny when it got the way. But that was really interesting. And something about that turning point of seeing her there brought about a strengthening of the relationship. Like, now I'm a part of her life. I know what's going on. I just thought it had a very intrinsic value to it. Seeing her twice in one dream. And I've never dreamt about her before, you know what I mean? It's been 6 months or whatever. Certainly I've thought a lot about her through all of the various situations, circumstances. But, it never came into my dream. And there was this very positive, content feeling that, like, you've got this now, You believe you can do it, and things are going to work out. And that felt really good to wake up to. Now, when I woke up, it was around 2:30 a.m. 3.5 hours dragged out. I couldn't fall back asleep. That kind of sucked, but there's a positive aspect to it because now that things are kind of shifting and changing in my life, I can't be certain that I'm doing things right, but I'm following a path that's meant for me however I am to do it. And if she does come into my life, um, she'd miss the whole entrepreneurial aspect of me and trying to run that engagement and understanding that she would just know me for being this person who works a bunch of jobs and dances. You know what I mean? So, in any case, if I were to get into a relationship, I would want somebody to love me for who I am at the start. You know what I mean? Like when I have nothing, when I am at my lowest. If you can love me there, then that will go on forever. So that's what I wanted. So I don't know if this is lowering myself or putting myself into a different position. I wanted her to know me as an entrepreneur or doing all this due diligence on my own. And this change in a relationship, this switch in gears with my work and everything I'm doing, it's really consequential to a lot of things. And I feel like perspective, outside point of view, I don't know what people think. But to me, I really feel like I lowered myself, but I'm doing it for a good reason. And my friends might think that's entitled, sharing their perspective. You just get any job and that's what you do. Um, I just really don't like this concept of trading time for money and doing things that are not purposeful. Purpose, passion, love, fulfillment. That's what I want to do in anything that I do. And I want to be intentional, right? So that's what an entrepreneur would do, and they're a problem solver, and they want to do things very critically to get an expected result. And if they fail, sure, but they honed in as deeply as possible, taking the risk to make everything as probable as possible. You know, and if they fail, they fail forward. So I have a bit of unease in doing all of this. Like, believe me, moving into the workspace is very uncomfortable. It's not something I want to do. I feel like I kind of have to do it. And while that's not true, I could sell my belongings and do the eBay or Craigslist and find other ways to hustle. Um, it is kind of necessary to learn these hospitality and service oriented skills, either as a server or working at 24. I think at this point it's more likely going to be serving. And if that helps me move forward to the next point, that'd be great. But I really don't want to take a whole year. You know how long a year is? You know how much I've developed this past year? How much I get to share with you? On my own time, of course. I wasn't taking the time to work every day as I probably will by counting hours here. Or at least I don't have the extra time to whip out a book and read. You know what I mean? Things are going to be a little different. I'm not so sure how that's going to work out with me. But in any case, my disturbance is that things from here on out are probably going to be really boring. Not much is going to be changing in my life until I get my health back and pay for the surgery. You know what I mean? So to me, that's very disturbing. And that's kind of why these awareness documentations or Adtalks or lesson of the day, whatever the heck you want to call them, they kind of got phased out, and I've slowed down. For the most part because I just need to rest. And instead of making a video like this every night before I go to bed, or waiting for the videos to load here before I can put more space from a video on the GoPro, I would rather rest and sleep, because sleep is my most vital resource. If I don't get enough sleep, I'm basically screwed health-wise for the rest of the day. And I may even have to rest in the middle of the day to be able to restore my energy. That's how incapable I am. So I really, 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 really need to sleep. And if there's spaces in this past month, 2 months, it's probably because I'm sleeping 12 hours plus. 12 to 14 hours or whatever on almost a daily basis. Because I need to recover. I need to heal. I need to restore from all the damage that my body undergoes. And it's really, really heavy. You need to understand. I kind of wish I was documenting all of this and saying, hey, I slept 14 hours, or I'm writing in here all the factual evidences, but I just haven't. I should. But as long as I get a fragment, even a piece of this process and what I'm experiencing, oh gosh, I don't want to tell you my symptoms. Pages of them, probably, Everything is a symptom because of the root problem that I need surgery for. So, it's terrible. It's absolutely horrifying how much I'm going through. Nobody seems to understand. If I really explained it to you and I put out a list of symptoms, people would be like, WTF? Get out of here. You know what I mean? You're 20 years old. I've never heard of this. You're making stuff up. You know what I mean? So, it's really painful to see and understand. Really. But at the same time, I know that I gotta work through this. And it's so odd, really, to be in this position. To be able to explain it for you, I'm pursuing dance. What I believe to be my calling is me being a performer, an entertainer, somebody who shares their energy and transmits it to the audience, the crowd, anybody that I come across. I want to make them smile. I want to make them laugh. I want to make them feel good, if even for a moment. But to be able to pursue that, my body is in terrible shape. Health-wise, I am practically turning into a cripple. And to pursue dance and performing, it's literally the hardest thing for me. But because it's my gift, it's the thing that comes easiest to me that I'm good at. So if I want to pursue it, hands down, but there's so much pain, struggle, suffering, and vulnerability to do that. So it's really odd how God places you in a position to do things that are against the grain, against your calling, but for it, so that you can emerge victorious, so that you can emerge a better person. And in my position, I also have to lower myself, what I believe is not entitlement, but a deviation from my self-awareness to do something that won't fully fulfill me in my work or more than I would like. And to take that content away and work and devote a year of my time, what I believe should be 6 months if I were only making income, taxes, whatever, I could be able to afford a surgery full time. But I have to remove all of that perspective and development I've had this past year and a half, and really put myself into a situation where I'm exposed to things that I have to tolerate. Not necessarily things I want, but I have to tolerate them to be able to succeed. It's the narrow path. And it's one I asked for, right? Whatever I have to do to survive, I'll do it. And then I get to emerge and thrive. It's just so contrary to what you would think. You'd think, oh, the grass is greener on the other side, and as we travel down this path, it's going to be so easy. There's going to be a nice yellow brick road with green all in between, and we're just going to walk. We're just going to follow that path all the way through. Everything's going to be easy and blissful. No, man. You gotta understand that when you open that gate, everything's gonna be dying. There's gonna be creepy trees. There's gonna be dead animals. Things hiding in the shadows and peeking and clawing at you. You're gonna trip and fall and land in dirt, sniff death around every corner. And for you to emerge victorious, you gotta fight your way through. Do things that are unspeakable odds to emerge in your truth. The narrow path is a very tough one. And if you believe that you can do it, you'll get to the other side and you'll be well. into your own being of what you believe is to be true. And your freedom to move. So, I hope that you guys are following the right path for you and you're being content, because we all have struggles, and we all have time. The greatest risk you're taking, the only risk you're taking, is with your time. Everything else is secondary, right? It's the first thing that happens. So, me taking the time to make this video, it's all a part of documenting over creating. Not creating something that you're not. It's being you. Sharing the process and loving the process. Success is a journey. It's not the destination that proves a success. It's the growth. It's the steps up to that point where you can be able to escalate and drive through all of the worries, the concerns, the faults, the insecurities, the pains, the setbacks, everything you tolerated to get things to be more easy, convenient, and efficient because you ate the dirt. That's what success is. You gotta love the process. And even though I'm pained to do these things that I don't want to do, I'm gonna do them. Because I know that it's in a strong pursuit for me to emerge on the other side in the right for what I believe will turn the tide. This is it. If I have to be 21 to be healthy, finally, 8 years, then that's what I'm going to do. Nobody's going to save you. You are your savior. Jesus Christ is a savior. What I mean is, you are your rescue. Okay? You gotta take care of yourself. Pat on the back. Lift yourself up. It's up to you. You got it? Now do something and interrupt. Change the cycle. I love you. Once again, November 29th. 7:05 a.m. I believe in you. You got this. Peace. From how much I've been through, it's got... I'd rather be understood, but I can't do it on my own. I need your help. Will you please help me?